Hey everyone, this is On here. Today I have the luxury of being here with Alan,
Hey.
who is actually going to help me in talking about the 7 steps we take in prepping for our international trips. Now, a ton of people always ask us a series of questions about how we take these international trips, and it ain't because we have the money. One of the first steps we kind of take when we are preparing for our international trips is setting the ideal time. For Tokyo, when we went in April, that was because it was Alan's spring break. And when we planned for it 4 or 5 months beforehand, we were tracking that flight with everything, but especially with our Hopper app. And our Hopper app actually notified us when the flight actually went down to $630. So it went from $1,200 to $630. So we booked, which leads me into step number 2. Make sure you book in pieces. Book in portions. For us, we always book the flight first, and sometimes if it's domestic, we'll book the one way one month, and the next month we'll book the return. So make sure you book in pieces, because trying to book everything all together is super overwhelming. So you want to make sure you book your flight 1 month, you book your hotel the next, you book your activities and anything else, any other travel gear that you need, maybe a few weeks prior. But you schedule in those payments and remind yourself and maybe your friends, hey, on this date we're going to pay for this. On this date we're going to pay for that. Stick to that schedule and treat it as if it's a birthday.
Step 3, it's always best to plan activities when you go on these international trips. As you will see in our pictures below, you're going to see that we had an activity every day. So it's never best to wing these things.
Step number 4, make sure you secure the wardrobe. So Alan spoke about some of the activities. So if you know you're doing sort of one activity a day, you want to make sure you know what you're wearing. So you almost want to create a travel wardrobe itinerary, because that's important, because you don't want to be somewhere and then you find out when you get there you have nothing to wear. And for us, in the case of us going to Dubai, we needed to make sure that whatever we are wearing is appropriate for certain places that we're going, because we don't want to offend. So setting a wardrobe itinerary and securing the wardrobe is very important. You might want to do that maybe 2 months in advance so you can order whatever you need online.
Next up is having a budget, of course. For these trips, if you want to be comfortable, you want to have at least $500 to $1,000 in spending money. When we went to Tokyo, we had the luxury of using our income tax money, but this time around for Dubai, since we're going mid-August, we don't have that luxury. So it's always best to put $100 or $200 each paycheck till your travel date.
Step number 6, securing the necessary apps, right? Alan, you want to talk about some of the Google Translate apps that we actually used while we were in Tokyo?
Oh yeah, especially when we went to Tokyo. When you go to the train station, everything is in their language, so using that app was very helpful.
Right.
And when you see a restaurant and they have some, the menu is also not translated at times, so Google Translate really helps us get around to the things that we needed to know.
Yeah, and also Google Maps. For me, I made sure that I had Google Maps, because wherever we put that we were going, if you got to the train station in Tokyo, they're so friendly. We would just show them where we're going and they would tell us what train line would actually go there. And since Tokyo has how many different companies, different train lines are all run by different companies, it was very confusing, but having that Google Maps in our phone really helped us. And also, Groupon for Dubai. Going to Dubai, a lot of people suggested using Groupon for some of the activities, so that's what we planned on doing, especially to schedule those activities in advance so we don't have to worry about that payment when we get there. So for the last step, and this is something that I take that I hold very in high regard, because it's something that nobody ever really thinks of when you prepare for an international trip, or any trip for that matter. But you want to create an errand calendar. So what I mean by that is before you go on a trip, there's always a series of things that you wait to do at the last minute. But this time, try not to do that. Spend your week or spend 2 weeks and make sure that you actually are planning out when you're going to do your laundry, when you're going to clean your house, when you're going to make sure everything's aligned so that when you're coming back, it's not chaos. Because coming back to chaos after you just took an international trip is very overwhelming. So you want to make sure you just kind of cross your T's and dot your I's before you leave, but not on the day you leave, because you will forget something. Anyways, those were our steps. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please put your comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram. Thank you. Bye.